What on earth? See, let's fly on over to Europe, Portugal to be specific, because they have been known for their golden visas. I mean, I think Portugal is one of the first places to come out with this golden visa idea. And if you're unaware of what a golden visa is, well, let me tell you, it's technically the type of visa residency situation where you can purchase property and then potentially get either permanent residence or citizenship, the passport of the country you are going to, okay? And so Portugal has been very famous for their golden visas, very famous with digital nomads because they have the best digital nomad visa. Although there's a lot of bureaucracy, you have so many Americans fleeing America right now to go to Portugal. I mean, I know some of them in my entrepreneur circles, Black women, like people are going over to Portugal in huge numbers, but there's one issue. See, 500 golden visa holders prepare a collective lawsuit against the Portuguese state. Now, I'm reading from imidaily.com, and this isn't looking too good. It's actually looking horrible, and this is the reason that we do not suggest people just jump up and try to acquire a passport or jump up and try to acquire property that is going to allow them to acquire a passport, because what these investors are going through is quite frankly treacherous. So investors intended to exhaust the Portuguese legal system and then assess what legal avenues exist at the European level, because Portugal decided to change the name of the game. See, it used to be 5 years to get residency and then potentially citizenship, but then they upped it to 10. But here's the issue with that gap. 500 Americans, at least 500 American investors who had actually invested $500,000 to get citizenship now can't get citizenship even though they invested $500,000 to purchase a property.
Man.
Whoops. So this group, predominantly Americans but spanning multiple nationalities, organized through WhatsApp and plans to register as a formal association. That's one thing about Americans. Americans, if you play them, they're going to the court. They're going for the lawsuits. Americans, they're usually not just gonna like forget about it, especially Americans that have money. They're gonna be unified, they're gonna get together, and you can probably assert that these are a lot of European Americans, European descent Americans, so they're not going to be playing all like that. They probably would end up actually winning this lawsuit, but of course it would take years and years, right? And so the law passed 152 to 64 on April 1st. After a deal between the governing Social Democratic Party and Chega doubles the naturalization timeline from 5 years to 10 years for most foreign nationals. Citizens of the European Union and the community of Portuguese language country member states face a 7-year requirement.
Look, this is why we say you have to do your research. You got to know where you are investing. Portugal was one of those countries that you could go to and like really get your residencies long term and stuff, but things change. As we say, things change overnight. You know, things could be happening behind the scenes that you just don't know about, and you have to do your research. This was back in, you said April?
Yeah.
April 1st or something like that,
That
it passed.
law passed.
So, you know, they've been in the works with this for a while. And if you're not inside a country, you're not going to know this stuff. If you're not doing a research like this, you're not going to know this stuff. So this is why we say you have to choose the right country. This is what we go over in our mature adult intensive, because it is very important. We talk to lots of people that sell their homes and want to invest in certain countries. And we say you have to choose the right country because certain things like this could happen. Things like this could be changing in the country that you're thinking about going to, that you never visited, that you never, lived in, and then you get there and all of a sudden that program or that scheme is over.
Yeah.
So that's why we say, like, go to countries that is upstanding with what they say. Like they're true to their word. They have clients, and the rapport of the clients is good. They really keep up with what they say, because it's like, man, you invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into a country, you expect permanent residency or citizenship. And if a country say citizenship, you're doing that for a reason. And yeah, like say, things are changing. Things are changing. That's why we say stick with people that research and get this information and give you guys. So if you're listening to this, like, leave your comments below if you know anyone in Portugal that has to deal with this, because I believe we follow someone that actually bought a house in Portugal and they sold it and stuff. I'm not sure the YouTube, but I know that they're like investors and stuff like that. But
I think they got in early though, so
yeah,
they've been there years.
Yeah, so yeah, like, this is big.
That's also a testament. Get in early. Don't be late to the game, because it
Mhm.
will eventually change. Like, the way that seasons change is the way that everything else changes on Earth as well. So if you can be early to be a part of some of these things, it's better. If you know you're coming in a little late, you may want to wait it out and just see if it's still legitimate, and instead go a different residency path through your business. This is why you should own a business, because think, if you empty out your savings, you sell your house, all your assets are gone, and you're like, well, I'm going to get this passport, and they're like, actually, no, you're not. You're going to have to wait about 5 to 10 years. Then that's a situation that you didn't have to be in. I would never just put all of your assets into one thing. And, it's not the end of the world to have an American passport. Like, the Most High, Yah, is not going to come back and see your American passport and send you to hell, right? Like, it's not a bad thing to just be an American passport holder. It's your passport. Just hold it, keep it. Leverage what you need to leverage in the States while moving abroad, because at the end of the day, especially if you're in our community, your ancestors worked for that. You worked for that. You pay taxes for that. Like, leverage the things that are assets to you. Don't be so quick to just throw it away, because with this quickness and just let me throw away the American passport, the world's gonna blow up. It's like, it doesn't matter either way. Actually, it's going to be beneficial for you to keep the American passport, because a lot of these passports, a lot of these countries do not have strong passports. Now, Portugal, they do have a strong passport, but not every country is like that. Now, Monteiro, the Portuguese lawyer, said legal stability must prevail. So you do have people in Portugal who are more righteous and want justice and are like, hey, you need to figure out how to give them their citizenship, their permanent residence, their money, whatever it is. Because he filed the Golden Visa investors amicus curiae brief to the Constitutional Court in December, and said the amendment once again shows the structural rule of law matters cannot be handled according to political or media cycles, right? So there should be some kind of caveat in the law that says these 500 investors that invested before X, Y, and Z date that you put this new thing into action should be able to still get their permanent residence or citizenship. When the legitimate expectations of thousands of people and Portugal's international credibility are at stake, well, the credibility is going to decline now for a certainty. When all of this is at stake, she argued, legal stability and the protection of legitimate trust must prevail over rushed solutions. Monteiro noted that many affected individuals simply cannot accept such a significant change to the rules in the middle of the game. Like, can you imagine? You're in a tournament, you're playing a game, and then the coach just says, we're going to change all the rules. Like, what do you mean? We started out with these rules. We need to proceed with the rules as they were when we started out. True or false? Now, a number are already seeking to organize legal actions, both collectively and individually, in the hope that the courts will safeguard their positions and uphold fundamental principles of legal certainty and legitimate expectations. She confirmed she is already outlining the legal grounds and structure of the actions to be submitted. Okay, so at least in Portugal, there's a legal system that they can fight, because some countries in Africa, like a lot of people had issues with this type of stuff in Zanzibar and Fumba Town. Some countries you go to in Africa, there won't be any legal system, and you just miss out on your 250K or 500K.
It might take a long time. Yeah, and a lot of money still spent, so yeah.
Yep, so I think that's it for this video. Let us know what you think down below. I was shocked by this, because Portugal is supposed to be the best nomad destination. I don't know if they're getting desperate because of World War III. I don't know if they're just like, it's too many Americans, we're sick of them. So somebody who is sick of the Americans was like, let me just change it. But again, this is why you retain your American passport. This is why you never put all of your assets into one thing. Go in little by little. Start with the digital nomad visa. than a temporary residence. You don't have to throw everything against the wall for no reason. Even if the world's on fire, still don't throw everything against the wall. Have a little bit of strength, resilience, go little by little, be able to wait and be patient for things and test the spirit, test the country, test the people, test what's going on around you to see if it is actually functional. So I think that's it for this video. Shalom, shalom. We'll see you in the next one.
Shalom, family.